At least for the last 7 years or so, there's been a bugging debate going on around the NBA world. Who's better, LeBron James or Michael Jordan? If in 2011 that debate was a bit laughable because one guy had 6 rings while the other one had 2 NBA Finals losses, in 2018 the landscape has changed a little bit. LeBron is a 3-time champion now and arguably has led worse teams in the finals. While the 5 losses in NBA Finals certainly don't help his case against Jordan, I wanted to take a deeper look at both of these players' accomplishments and their supporting cast. Hey everyone, hope you're doing well. I'm Purple Prince and let's try to compare these two all-time greats. First of all, there's no wrong answer here. Old school guys will most likely say that Jordan is the greatest, while modern day NBA players might say that LeBron is better because he's bigger, faster, and has taken worse teams to the promised land. But let's not have an empty talk here. Let's take a look at their teams and their opponents in the finals. Let's start with Jordan. In 1991 NBA Finals against the Lakers, Jordan led Bulls to a 4-1 win and his first championship ring. He had 3 teammates averaging double-digit points, John Paxson, Horace Grant, and while Jordan was undoubtedly the best player on the Bulls, he also had a Hall of Fame player in Scottie Pippen, who averaged more than 20 points per game while being a defensive ace and a Swiss Army knife. In 1991 Finals, Jordan faced 2 Hall of Famers in Magic Johnson and James Worthy, all of whom averaged more than 16 points per game in the finals. That wasn't enough though, and Jordan got his first ring. In 1992 NBA Finals, Jordan had the same supporting cast, and this time he was facing the Portland Trail Blazers. While the stats showed the Portland Trail Blazers had 6 players averaging double-digit points, the best player on the team was Clyde Drexler, who didn't shoot particularly well in the finals, albeit because of the great defense of Jordan and Pippen. The finals ended up predictably, 4-2 in the favor of Chicago Bulls. In these finals, Jordan's supporting cast was worse. While Pippen was still doing his thing, Paxson and Grant weren't that impressive. Jordan carried the bulk of scoring load, averaging more than 35 points per game. In 1993 Finals, Jordan probably faced his biggest test yet. Chicago Bulls were meeting the Phoenix Suns, who had an all-time great player in Charles Barkley and some solid role players. While Jordan largely had the same core group in the finals as he had previous years, Suns supporting cast featured Kevin Johnson, Dan Marley, and Richard Dumas. Now, in these finals, Jordan was simply unbelievable. He averaged 41 points per game and his supporting cast was awesome as well, with Horace Grant averaging a double-double and B.J. Armstrong averaging more than 13 points per game. For Phoenix Suns, it was mostly Barkley. Kevin Johnson and Dan Marley and Richard Dumas did provide a solid scoring, but that wasn't enough. Jordan had 3 rings now. After taking a hiatus from basketball, Jordan went to the finals again in 1996, where Chicago Bulls faced off with Seattle Supersonics. This time Jordan had unbelievable supporting cast. He had 2 Hall of Famers in Pippen and Rodman, who was the best rebounder by far in every game. Not to mention he also had Tony Kukoc, Luke Longley, and his previous three-peat buddy Ron Harper. On the other side, Seattle Supersonics had just a Hall of Famer guard Gary Payton and good scorers in Shawn Kemp and Detlef Schrempf. Seattle pretty much just played their starting 5, with the best bench player averaging just 2.8 points. Seattle was once down 3-0 in the series and even won Game 5 to come back 2-3 in the series, but they lost the next game in the series 4-2. Jordan averaged 27, 6, and 7 in the series, and his second three-peat was in the making. A year later, in 1997 NBA Finals, Jordan faced the hungry Utah Jazz team, with 2 Hall of Famers in John Stockton and Karl Malone. As close as the games were, Utah Jazz ultimately was no match for the Chicago Bulls. All Utah Jazz had was the big 2, and after that, of course, Jeff Hornacek and Byron Russell provided some scoring, but that was it. 4-2 in the series, Jordan has 5 rings with the averages of 32.3 points, 7 rebounds, and 6 assists. Jordan's last finals appearance was in 1998 against the same Utah Jazz team. Although reloaded with some younger players, Jazz fell to Bulls again in 6 games. This series even featured a game where Utah Jazz scored an embarrassing 54 points in the whole game against Chicago Bulls. Talk about having no offense. So let's wrap it up. In 6 finals, Jordan had 2 Hall of Fame players and played against a total of 7 Hall of Famers. In finals, he averaged 33.6 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists. So how has LeBron been doing? His first finals appearance came in 2007, where he and his Cleveland Cavaliers faced off with San Antonio Spurs. Cleveland was swept in 4 games, and while this team was just awful and LeBron really had no help whatsoever offensively, he wasn't playing good as well. In 4 games, he averaged just 22 points, 7 rebounds, and 7 assists, while shooting 35% from the field and 20% from the three-point line. To be honest, nobody expected them to win the championship this year, so I could forgive him that. San Antonio had 3 Hall of Fame players and a defensive nightmare in Bruce Bowen, while Cleveland had just LeBron James and Drew Gooden? Okay, on to the next one. Now, 2011 finals are probably the worst black mark on LeBron's resume. He faced Dallas Mavericks, who in a lot of people's minds had no business taking away even 1 game from the Miami Heat. After all, Miami Heat were just finishing up their first season with the Big Three, and LeBron now had Dwayne Wade and perennial All-Star Chris Bosh. This was one of the biggest surprise champions of the last 10 years. Mavericks won the series 4-2, and LeBron was pretty awful. He was the 3rd leading scorer on his team, averaging just 17.8 points, 7 rebounds, and 7 assists. He was way too passive, and this probably is the finals he gets the most blame for. LeBron James bounced back in a big way though next season. In the NBA Finals, it was Miami Heat vs OKC Thunder, and even though Miami lost Game 1, they were able to win next 4 games and get the first ring for the King. This time, LeBron was great. For the finals, he averaged 28.6 points, 10.2 rebounds, and 7.4 assists. He captured the championship and is Finals MVP, in the process defeating 3 future Hall of Famers in Durant, Westbrook, and Harden. Next year, Miami Heat powered up by getting a Hall of Fame shooter, Ray Allen. He proved to be a very important piece as he made the shot in the Game 6 of NBA Finals, which saved Miami from a 2-4 series loss. Miami ended up beating Spurs in 7 games, and LeBron was now a back-to-back champion, and a 2-time Finals MVP. Spurs featured the same 3 Hall of Famer core, plus a future Hall of Famer in Kawhi Leonard, but LeBron was great and averaged 25, 11, and 7 for the series. In 2014 NBA Finals, Miami failed to three-peat when San Antonio beat them relatively easy in 5 games. San Antonio had the ultimate team effort, with 5 players averaging double-digit points and 2 more giving them important contributions. LeBron was still doing his thing with 28, 8, and 4, but Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh failed to impress, and LeBron now had 3 NBA Finals losses. 2015 NBA Finals featured the start of the Warriors dynasty. Warriors had 3 Hall of Fame players and the 2 best shooters this game has ever seen. And to make it even more difficult, LeBron lost Kevin Love in the first round of the playoffs, and Kyrie went down with an injury in the first game of NBA Finals. LeBron was great this series, averaging 36, 13, and 9, but when your next leading scorer in the team is Timofey Mozgov, you know your shot at winning is pretty slim. So a loss 2-4 in the series, and individually LeBron was now 2-4 in the NBA Finals. Then came the 2016 NBA Finals. Warriors were fresh off the best regular season of all time. Golden State broke the Chicago Bulls record of regular season wins and won 73 out of 82 games in the regular season. And even in the final series, Warriors were up 3-1 with the chance to end the series on their home court. But the Cleveland Cavaliers, with awesome performances from LeBron James and Kyrie Irving, were able to come back and win the series in 7 games, ending the championship drought for the city. This time LeBron had some great help in Kyrie Irving, who made the shot over Steph Curry to ice the Game 7. Kevin Love was pretty much non-existent, but other role players contributed some key plays. A year after unbelievable comeback, LeBron was facing the Warriors for the 3rd time in a row. Only this time they added Kevin Durant to the mix, making the task of repeating so much tougher. LeBron James averaged a triple-double for the NBA Finals, and Kyrie was awesome as well. Heck, even Kevin Love made some nice contributions, but ultimately 4 possible Hall of Famers were too much and Cleveland lost to the Warriors in 5 games. So now LeBron has made the finals for the 9th time. He will face the Warriors once again. The result is yet to be seen, but we will draw conclusions from the finals who have already ended. So in total, Jordan appeared in 6 finals, winning all of them, while LeBron has 3 wins and 5 losses. LeBron has had a total of 4 Hall of Fame teammates if you count in Kyrie Irving and Chris Bosh, and in his 8 NBA Finals he has faced a total of 12 possible Hall of Famers. Jordan, on the other hand, had 2 Hall of Famers and he faced 7 other Hall of Famers in the finals. Michael Jordan had a higher scoring average, while LeBron averages more rebounds and assists, so in overall statistics, LeBron might be even better. Sounds very messy, and for some it may sound like I'm making the case for LeBron James being the greatest player of all time, but you're wrong. All I'm doing is trying to explain that LeBron is great, and in my mind he has had a much stronger competition for the NBA championship. Michael Jordan will be the king of the finals, and nothing will change that, but LeBron has had worse teammates and tougher competition in the NBA finals. If you think that Michael Jordan is better, then the only thing you can hold against LeBron is his 2011 NBA finals. And you would be right to do that. Jordan didn't have that kind of a meltdown. And if you think that LeBron is the GOAT, you have a point there too. At the end of the day, both are great players, both are undoubtedly the best of their generation, and both are 1 and 1A when it comes to all-time rankings. What do you think? Who's the best? Share your awesome thoughts in the comments, like this video, and subscribe for future NBA content. This was Purple Prince, and I'm out.
Loving life, happiness in sight, but still something ain't feeling right. Trying to make it in this world, but this world ain't built for my kind. Struggling the consequence when you try to be